Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to currently negotiate about. You did see my match reaction yesterday, to the Club Brugge Manchester United game that did end Club Brugge 1, Manchester United 1 at the Jan Bradell Stadium in the Europa League last 32 first leg. Now everything was negative, the performance was negative. The only positive was the result, because of course Manchester United did get that away goal through Anthony Martial. Now of course we can take that into the second leg at Old Trafford. Now of course the second leg is on the 27th of February. Now I'm going to go through you on this video what I thought Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer got wrong in the game yesterday, and I think he got quite a lot of stuff wrong. A lot of people are saying he tactically got it wrong. Did Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer? He did obviously stick with three at the back. He went with a 3-4-2-1 formation, and obviously prior to the game against Club Brugge, he was asked about that three, with going with three at the back, because we have been going with that formation in our last couple of games, because it has seemed to have been working, three at the back, and we seldom go with three at the back, like Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer was saying. Also, he's playing players out of position, so that's also another element of concern. I think, Martial shouldn't have been playing in that number 9 role yesterday. He was also playing in the number 9 against Chelsea. But to be fair, he has scored in his last 2 games as Anthony Martial. But like I've said to you on numerous occasions, Anthony Martial is predominantly a left winger, because in his 4 previous seasons at Manchester United, he has been operating on that left-hand side. It's only been this season he has been operating in that number 9 role. But I don't think Martial was too bad yesterday, to be quite fair. But let's be honest, there wasn't an outstanding performer. So yeah, he made a mistake by putting Anthony Martial in that number 9 role. Odi Nagalo didn't start. Now, a lot of our fans were infuriated why Odi Nagalo didn't start. Because obviously, it was likely he was going to be starting, because Solskjaer did confirm it prior to the game. He also should have started against Chelsea in the league, but didn't. So Odi Nagalo has yet to make his full debut for Manchester United. So yeah, that's definitely very questionable. So Odi Nagalo didn't start. So that's something else Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got wrong. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes, he didn't start. Now, maybe some Manchester United fans will feel as though he should have started in the game. He should have started ahead of Jesse Lingard, should Bruno Fernandes, because I think Bruno Fernandes has done really, really well so far as a Manchester United player. Of course, he's made around 3 appearances for the football club. He was very, very good in his debut against Wolves. He was also very, very good in the game against Chelsea on Monday night. And I thought he made an impact when he came on, yesterday in the game against Club Brugge. But Solskjaer, did make a lot of changes, from the 2-0 win against Chelsea. He made around 6 changes. Of course, Romero started. Obviously, Romero tends to play in the cup games. Obviously, we saw Diego Dalot come into the team. He hasn't played too much this season, reflects on the injuries he's had. So his appearances have been limited, but he's now back. We saw obviously, Lindelof returning from illness. Don't think he was too good yesterday, Lindelof. Lindelof didn't play against Chelsea, due to illness. Of course, Andres Pereira came into the team. He was playing alongside Nemanja Matic in our midfield. Yes, he was. And, yes, so he made around 6 changes in the game, did Solskjaer. Jesse Lingard, of course, came into the team, and so too did Juan Mata. And, Lingard and Juan Mata were playing alongside each other. So he did get quite a lot of things wrong. He shouldn't have played Andres Pereira. He shouldn't have played Jesse Lingard. Also, too, Wan-Bissaka was rested. I did have a feeling that I was going to rest Wan-Bissaka in the game. But, reflecting on the injuries that Manchester United have got, obviously we've got Paul Pogba out. He might not ever play for Manchester United again, don't forget, like Solskjaer revealed. Looking likely he's on his way out of the football club in the summer. But Solskjaer did confirm prior to the game that, Paul Pogba is nowhere near, close to returning. We've got Marcus Rashford out. He may be out until the end of the season. Solskjaer did confirm prior to the game that Marcus Rashford may never play for Manchester United. couple of months at least. He's out for a couple of months, but he may not play again until the end of the season, and may not even play in the European Championship this year. Solskjaer did say if Rashford isn't fully fit, then he isn't going to participate in the European Championship. But Solskjaer said he is touch and go to play again this season. Rashford's got a back injury. Obviously, the injury is more severe than what we initially thought at the first and that. So, obviously, there was negativity coming out about Marcus Rashford. Of course, Daniel James was rested. Paul Merson's recently come out and, he's actually urged Solskjaer to take Daniel James out of the team. Maybe because he feels as though from his own perception that Solskjaer has been overplaying Daniel James. And to be fair, he has been playing overplaying Daniel James. Daniel James has played over 31 games this season for Manchester United. Around 31, it's just over 31 games he's played in all competitions this season and that. So I think he did, get a lot of things wrong. I thought for 80 minutes though yesterday, it was very, very boring, to be quite honest with you. We had a lot of the possession. I think there was quite a few chances in the second half, but no team could convert the winner. I thought Club Brugge looked very, very, very good on the counter-attack. They had some decent chances in the game. I thought in the first half, especially, we looked all over at the back. Again, Luke Shaw, I don't think he was brilliant, Luke Shaw. He was played out of position. He was played at centre-half. Like I said, Luke Shaw is not predominantly a centre-half. Luke Shaw is predominantly a left-back. So that's something else Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got wrong. He also played Luke Shaw at centre-half against Chelsea. So he needs to start getting things right, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Some people say Eric Bailly should have started, because he put a fantastic display out in the 2-0 win against Chelsea on Monday. That was his first return to the Premier League, since April of last year, but did put a very good performance out, did Eric Bailly. So, yeah, he got quite a few things wrong. Emmanuel Dennis did put Club Brugge 1-0 up. I thought he was one of their best players, to be fair. Their goal came from the free kick, from Simon Mignolet. And actually, Emmanuel Dennis had chipped Sergio Romero, and that was 1-0. But just 10 minutes before half-time, we equalised through Martial. He capitalised on the mistake, from their throw-in. And it was a very, very good finish from Anthony Martial and that. So that was a 1-1. But wasn't, I thought the game lacked quality, to be quite honest with you. I did expect Manchester United to win. I think, it'll be totally comparison in the second leg. I think we'll beat them in the second leg. Because I think in the second leg, we'll start the likes of Fernandes, Fred, Igalo, probably even start Wan-Bissaka, just to make sure we can progress into the last 16 of the competition. So I think it will be a totally different game at Old Trafford. But take into account, Club Brugge are top of the Belgian league. I think they're 9 points clear. Realistically looking like they're going to win the Belgian league this season. They was unlucky not to win it last season, because they finished just behind Genk. And of course, yes, though there was unlucky, and Club Brugge's record against Premier League opposition is disastrous. They are winless now in their last 11 games against Premier League opposition. Don't forget we played Club Brugge back in 2015 and 16 season in the Champions League playoffs. We beat them 4-0 at the Jambredo, was it, if I remember rightly, and we beat them 3-1 at Old Trafford, and Wayne Rooney had scored an hat-trick in one of the games. Yeah, but I think we'll definitely beat them at Old Trafford, and the Europa League is a priority for Manchester United. I think we are emerged as one of the favourites to win it. We won it a couple of years ago under Jose Mourinho's guidance. We beat Ajax in the final by 2-0. So I think Manchester United are definitely capable of winning it. Because obviously we want to get some silverware on the board. We are yet to get silverware on the board under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And Solskjaer's now been here over a year. And it's also another route to Champions League football. And Champions League football is very imperative for Manchester United. So obviously if we can get European football, then obviously, we've got more chance of attracting players to the elite level. Also, we'll generate more money. Plus, the resources of the football club in general will be better. So it will change a lot of things if we can, secure Champions League football. And if we win the Europa League, obviously we get automatic qualification for the Champions League. So hopefully, Manchester United can win it. Around 19 travelled in total, to, Brugge. 19 in total travelled. Obviously, a few of the youngsters didn't travel. like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did confirm. There was no Mason Greenwood, by the way, yesterday, like I said, because he's been ill as Mason Greenwood. So he was absent from training on Wednesday morning, was Greenwood, so he didn't make the trip. If he'd have been involved in the squad, Mason Greenwood would have played, because he tends to play in like the Europa League and the other cup games. He starts a lot in them, but in the Premier League, for me, he doesn't get enough starts, does Mason Greenwood. Yeah, but he was currently ill. And he's been very, very good this season, Greenwood. He's scored 10 senior goals in 20-odd first-team appearances in all competitions. And, it's only his first season in the senior squad. I think as he develops more, he will emulate into Marcus Rashford and that, definitely. So, yeah, there was no him. Chong, Gomez and Garner, as you all know, they weren't training with the first team, because they were already in Belgium, playing for the under-19s. So this is why, they weren't there. McTominay, he wasn't a part. He was training on Wednesday morning, but of course, he wasn't part of the squad. McTominay, he was still out. But when McTominay does come back, it will be much better for Manchester United. Because I thought before he got injured, he was a revelation in our midfield. Solskjaer's confirmed that he could be included in the squad for the Watford game this Sunday. Could Scott McTominay. Tuanzebe, he's still out injured. I think he's close to returning now, because he's also stepping up his fitness regime, and so too is Fosu Mensah and that. But yeah, I've got to say, yesterday, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team selection was definitely no questionable, like Robin Van Persie was saying. Solskjaer also, he gave his overarching view on the game. Of course, he also criticised Anthony Martial's teammates, for failing to provide him enough service. This is also something else he came out with, did Solskjaer. And he also, said he was, not satisfied, with the conditions and the ball in Brugge. So these are the stuff, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer quoted out. But, the result was pretty good. We got that away goal, and now we can take that away goal to Old Trafford in the second leg, definitely in that. So, yeah, so that's what I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did get wrong yesterday in the game against Club Brugge. Like I've said to you, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right manager for Manchester United. I don't think he's the right manager for Manchester United. He isn't the long-term solution for the football club. A lot of United fans have got different perceptions on Solskjaer. Some United fans would be determined to keep him, and some United fans, would obviously, do want him to go. So United fans have got different perceptions on him. Also, rotating is very, very key, because, we have got a busy period now. Man United have got like 7 games in 21 days. So rotating, is very, very essential. So Solskjaer said, he will be making a lot of rotation with the games that are, currently coming up. Watford on Sunday. Brugge next week in the second leg. Everton. Manchester City, so games are coming up thick and fast for Manchester United, definitely in that. But Solskjaer, of course, I feel as though he's had long enough at Manchester United. He's been here now, like I mentioned, over the year. We know it's a transition period, and like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that Manchester United can get through this transition period. And Solskjaer believes, from his own perception, if he's given enough time, he can, he can emulate into next Jurgen Klopp. Because obviously, taking into account, it took Jurgen Klopp a long time, to get him to level up as he is at now. And Solskjaer believes he can build a team like Liverpool. I don't think he can emulate into next Jurgen Klopp, though. That's from my own perception. He won't invoke Ferguson's legacy at the football club. Don't forget, though, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United when we recommended him in. But look what he went and accomplished after the 4 years without winning anything and that. But I think, on the other hand, regardless of who our manager is, I don't think we'll ever be the team that we was under Alex Ferguson. But my main explanations why I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right manager for Man United, because I think he's tactically naive. And I know I did say, from my own perception, 3 at the back seems to suit our standards, because in the games we have played 3 at the back this season, we have seen to have got good results and that. Obviously the 3 at the back didn't work out yesterday, but I think in the other games prior to that, it has seemed to work out. He has no plan A, Solskjaer. He doesn't really have a plan B. I just feel as though the strappings of the club's too high for him, you know, despite the fact that he knows the club very, very well. He was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance, but I just think, you know, the expectations are too high for him at Manchester United. Now, I think for Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer to be given another season at Manchester United now, I think he needs, and we need, to finish within the top 6 this season, and we also need to secure European football. I think that's probably the only way Solskjaer will still be Manchester United manager next season. Some people even believe if we was to get European football, Solskjaer will still be sat as Manchester United manager. So this is, you know, what some people believe. Of course, we are now in that top 4 race. We are sitting, 7th in the Premier League. We are only 3 points behind Chelsea. And I said, you know, if we hadn't beaten Chelsea on Monday, you know, our top four ambitions would have been over. But with us beating Chelsea, it keeps our top 4 ambitions alive. We're only 3 points behind now. Obviously, you know, 5th place now anyway is a Champions League spot, reflecting on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. So definitely, you know, top 4 is a priority for Man United. You know, it is, and you know, it was a good result against Chelsea, you know, beating them by 2-0, beating them for the first time in the Premier League era. Beating them, doing the double over them for the first time ever in the Premier League era. You know, we're beating them at Stamford Bridge for the first time in the Premier League since 2012. And you know, it wasn't the best of performances again, but Manchester United, you know, still did get the win. And I said, you know, we needed to build on that, and, you know, we need to build some momentum. And it's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. You know, we'll win a game or win a couple of games, then we'll go on a bad vein of form. We need to go on a good winning run now, definitely. And this is what Manchester United have got to do. So, yeah, we are definitely still in that top 4 race. You know, there's quite a few teams that are in that top 4 race. Also, the FA Cup is a priority for us, you know, because we can still win that. We are into the 5th round of the competition. We have got Derby coming up. You know, Wayne Rooney's going to be reuniting with Manchester United because he's a player-manager at Derby. So, yeah, the FA Cup is a priority for us. But, you know, I think, you know, Solskjaer will be sacked, you know, from my own perception. I just think it is a matter of time. Solskjaer did say, though, he still believes we can attract players to the elite level, even if we don't get any European football, you know, and that. But as you all know, Solskjaer is making plans for the summer transfer window. Of course, more investment is needed in the squad. Ed Woodward is determined to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with more transfers this summer, don't forget. I was reading reports the other day and it said Solskjaer is going to get around £274 million to spend this summer on bringing more players into the football club. Obviously, not analysing it at the moment. Solskjaer has endured 3 transfer windows as Manchester United manager, and he spent around £220 million on 5 players. Of course, last summer he brought Daniel James in, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, and in January he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in. But of course, we will be looking to build on that in the summer transfer window because obviously, you know, more signings are needed at Manchester United. If Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window, it will be his 4th window as Manchester United manager in that. But we have got quite a few players on our agenda who we could go in for. I said we'll spend a substantial amount this summer. And, you know, these still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. Man United need a couple of midfielders, or at least one. We need at least one forward. We need a right winger. We possibly need a left back. Some people are saying we need a left winger, then, you know, we can use Daniel James as a cover-up. Some people are saying we need a centre-half, and then we can use Lindelof as a cover-up. So these still areas in the squad that definitely, you know, do need to be addressed and that. But, you know, some people believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't trustworthy, you know, to spend further more money at Manchester United. But people have got different perceptions on it. I've got different perceptions on it and that. But, you know, Ed Woodward, like I said, he wrote a fans forum not too long ago. And like I've said, revert back to what I said before, there's not only problems with management at the football club. You know, I know Solskjaer's managerial style doesn't suit Man United, but there's not only problems with the management, there's various issues at the football club that do need to be addressed. You know, prime example, you know, Fred came out, you know, during the winter break. He gave an interview in Brazil, you know, he was explaining, you know, the various issues at Man United. the problems and the lack of unity in the squad. And Fred, had a point, so he did come out with quite a few interesting stuff, did Fred, and I think he was right, to be fair. And, but the problems at the club is the management, yes. There's problems, with the club's ownership, there's problems with the executive chairman. There's also the board are a liability. They've been a liability for several years. And I don't like the way the football club's been run in the last 6 or 7 years, to be quite honest with you. I don't like the way the football club has been run. So we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. And, we expect to see more departures in the summer. More players will leave Manchester United this summer. So looking at that, we're going to generate funds for some of the players that leave in the summer. Obviously, already a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer's arrival. Around 9 senior players have left, and obviously we've generated some money, from their departures, last summer and that. Obviously, this year Young left the football club. He went to Inter Milan after he endured 8.5 years at Man United. Marcus Rojo went out on loan to Estudiantes. He went out on loan, so he returned back to Argentina. Of course, last summer Darmian went, Ander Herrera went, Fellaini went, Smalling also too went, Lukaku went, and Alexis Sanchez went, and Valencia left at the end of last season after he endured 10 years at the club. So a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Also, it's freed up our wage bill a little bit, with Lukaku going and, Sanchez going. Well, we're still paying the vast majority of Sanchez's wages, despite the fact that he's on loan with Inter Milan. But I do feel as though Manchester United have made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. And it's not the only explanation, but it's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. The mistakes we've made, I think we made a mistake getting rid of Ander Herrera, because he was one of our best players since Fergie. We made a mistake getting rid of Lukaku. Looking at it from a financial point of view, I was happy, with the money we generated from his departure, but, I was still disappointed, to see Romelu Lukaku go. Now, obviously, he's firing in all cylinders at Inter Milan. I think we've made a mistake giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis. The main explanation why we're giving the job permanently is reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. I think, over the years, we've recruited. The vast majority of the players that we've brought in have been the wrong calibre players for Man United. I think on the other hand, though, there's some players that we've let go over the years that, Manchester United shouldn't have let go, let's be honest. And, these are the mistakes. These are the mistakes Man United made. I think the club also made a mistake by not recommending a director of football in last summer, because I did say that's one of the structural changes that we need at the football club. And if we'd got that director of football in, then Ed Woodward could have moved away from the footballing decisions, but we didn't get that director of footballing. And I think, we should have recommended Jose Mourinho in after, Ferguson retired back in 2013. Ferguson, of course, made a mistake by ever recommending David Moyes into the job. The main explanation why I recommended Moyes in is because they was both Scottish. So yeah, Man United have made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. Definitely made a lot of mistakes. Now, of course, we've got a lot of players on our agenda in the summer who we could go in for. Like I mentioned, Sancho's one of our targets. Jack Grealish is one of our targets. James Maddison's one of our targets. So if we were to get that trio, they'd probably cost us around £260 million. But, they would dramatically improve us, would Grealish and Maddison. And so too would Jadon Sancho. But again, we need Champions League football, I think, if we've got any chances of getting Jadon Sancho in the summer. And Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, we have sat 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Moyes went, Louis van Gaal went, and Jose Mourinho went. And, some people even say maybe we should have stuck with Jose Mourinho for another season, so maybe you can say that's another mistake Manchester United made. But Manchester United are not really known for a sacking football club, despite the fact we've sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. We have spent a lot of money. A lot of money's been spent at Manchester United. We have spent £1 billion, or nearly £1 billion, on recruiting new players in all the managerial eras since the Ferguson era. And that's disregarding what was spent under Alex Ferguson and that. And, so a lot of money's been spent. Also, I think we've got the highest wage bill in the Premier League. And we're not in that commanding position that we currently should be in. Definitely we're not. But I just believe Solskjaer is not the right manager for Man United. Man United is the third club he's managing in his managerial career. Before he was at Man United, he was at Mould, and before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff. And his record at Cardiff was also disastrous. You know, he only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff. He got them relegated, and this is the main explanation why he got relegated with Cardiff, Against Solsjkaer. Too inexperienced as a manager. And I just think, Manchester United do need to move him on. He's got 2.5 years left, by the way, on his current deal. But like I said, we won't forget what he's done for the club. He did well as the interim manager. Very, very good player he was. One of his most iconic moments as a player was 1999 when he won the club the treble, which is one of the club's greatest achievements. And so these are a lot of things I credit him for. He's also give the youngsters their opportunities this season, to be fair to him, but he just isn't the right manager for Manchester United. I think we need to get a manager in whose philosophy is going to be right for the club. A manager in, we need a manager in, with a proven pedigree, perhaps a manager at the top level and that. And so this is what Manchester United need to do. If Solskjaer is to be sacked, I think it's probably either going to be Pochettino, if it isn't Pochettino, or Massimiliano Allegri that takes over Solskjaer. But we will currently see. We may not get Pochettino now because, City, could get him in because Guardiola could leave City this summer. So just take that into account as well. But yeah, we need to see a lot. We need to see a lot of changes at Manchester United, definitely. I think the players that need to go in this summer, like I've said to you, I think Jones, Pereira, Lingard, they're definitely two liabilities of Pereira and Lingard. Jones needs to go because Jones is too inconsistent, doesn't even hardly get in the team. He's also recently been injured as Phil Jones. I think Matic needs to be moved on, too much of a liability. Hasn't done so bad recently, but I've still got a lot of element of concerns about him. Chon needs to be moved on. Luke Shaw perhaps maybe needs to be moved on. He's done well in the last couple of games maybe, but he's very injury prone. He's struggling for that consistency. Obviously, Brandon Williams is first choice ahead of him now. So probably get rid of him. Definitely get rid of Pereira, get rid of Lingard. And so I'd still probably get rid of around 4 or 5 players. But on the other hand, these still players at Manchester United, I would be determined to keep. Keep Rashford, probably keep Martial because he's improving recently, but I still don't want him to play in that number 9. Keep McTominay, keep Fred, because I think Fred's had a good couple of months for Manchester United, as you realised yesterday when he came on and that, we saw more transition in the final third. Keep McTominay, like I said, keep Lindelof, keep the free signings that were recommended in last summer. So these two players at Man United I would be determined to keep. The ongoing situation with Paul Pogba, like I've been updating you on, we know that he's going to be leaving Manchester United in the summer. Of course, his agent Mino Raiola has come out and he's been talking. He said his client is likely to leave Man United in the summer if Man United fail to qualify for the Champions League. And he did basically say, Pogba didn't come to the club to not win titles. And his brother Matthias has come out and said that Pogba wants to leave to rejuvenate his career and wants to leave to, be in Champions League and, challenge for titles and that. And he's obviously, enjoying this at Manchester United. Now, also his agent Mino Raiola would come out the other day and said, that Paul Pogba is not Against Solskjaer's property, but he's not mine. He was saying something to do with a prisoner. So these are the stuff that his agent Mino Raiola come out and said. Man United in general are infuriated with what his agent has come out and said, regarding Solskjaer and the club in general. Gary Neville's been critical of Mino Raiola. So too as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It did say the other day that Raiola was set to hold talks with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and as far as I'm aware, Solskjaer hasn't spoken to Mino Raiola at the moment. Now I think Pogba will go to Real Madrid or Juventus in the summer. Real Madrid reportedly only value Paul Pogba at £50 million now. So that's 3 times less than what we want for him because we want £150 million. So they're £100 million off our valuation of Real Madrid. And it's £39 million less than what we paid for him from Juventus. We paid £89 million for him from Juventus, Paul Pogba. So obviously in the summer it's very imperative that we get more for him than what we paid for him. We can't sell him for less than what we paid for him. And that Man United I don't think will sell Pogba for just £50 million. I was reading just reports recently. It said Juventus are willing to offer £50 million, one of their players, as part of a deal to sign Paul Pogba. came out the other day and said Juventus were willing to offer 125 million plus 2 of their players as part of the deal, but I think that was actually a load of nonsense. I think still his preference is a move to Juventus. Obviously, last summer his preference was a move to Real Madrid. Real Madrid were relentlessly linked with him last summer, but reflecting on the substantial amount we put on Pogba last summer, Real Madrid, were not determined to pay. So this is why his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise. Pogba's only played 8 games this season. He hasn't played for Man United since Boxing Day, just like McTominay were. He hasn't, started a game from the start since September, so his appearances have been limited this season. And now Pogba's into the final year of his contract, but Man United do have the option to extend his contract by a further year. So yeah, Pogba is definitely on his way out of the football club. So that's everything to update you with. Obviously, your Man United and Watford preview will be coming up. It's on Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff at Old Trafford. So join me for them. And on my next video, I'll be giving you an update on some transfer news. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.